Summer is often considered the slow season here on the Suncoast, on our roads, for our restaurants, but that is not necessarily true in real estate, where summer doesn't really slow down, but rather shift. Real estate advisors Georgia Salaverri and Salaverri Windsor from Salaverri Windsor Group are here to explain. And before we start, congratulations to Georgia. She has been recognized as a top real estate professional by Real Trends for the second year in a row.
Thank you.
So it's great to have those accolades. We of course already knew all this.
Well, it's because of the wonderful people that I get to work with. My customers, number one, but also my colleagues. And you have to have a passion for what you do.
Absolutely.
And I love real estate. I love what I do. I love helping people. It really is rewarding.
Wonderful. Well, and this summer, things have actually been kind of humming right along from what I understand. Address the concept of the summer shift. How do things shift?
Well, people are always asking us, what are some of the differences between listing your home perhaps in the summer versus the winter? And we like to say it's more of a shift, because what we see is it's a different dynamic. There's less buyers, there's less sellers. So when those two things drop simultaneously, what it creates is for a buyer, you've got a little bit more time to make decisions. You may not be in a multiple offer situation. And then from a seller's perspective, there's less competition, and what we see in the winter months, that you're able to kind of hold out a little bit more and really hold firm on your price. And we see success in both, but it's really just a different dynamic.
So not good or bad, just different.
Just different, yes.
Yeah, and that's okay. And our market, I feel like, is a little bit different anyway.
It is.
Because farther north, summer's the big selling season with school turnover.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some of that here, because obviously, neighborhoods
a little bit.
and schools are a concern for people, but not as much.
Not as much. And we really focus on the winter months being the biggest time for us. But right now is great, because people can come in, they can look at the inventory that's higher now than it's been in a long time, and they have a lot of choices.
Right, options are good.
Yeah.
Especially when you're choosing forever homes and such. In terms of the overall market, we're hearing a lot nationally about how Florida and the Southeast have a glut of homes on the market and everybody's fleeing. We know the headlines are a little overdone. In your opinion, how are things going here on the Suncoast?
So yes, we do have more inventory, like I said, than we've had in a long time. But we have people moving in. I'm closing on houses this week where people have moved from different areas of the country. So it's still happening. It's just not as fast-paced as it was.
And I think what people may need to remember is that we had those few years where it was a little crazy, out of the norm, over the top.
Yes.
People coming in.
You couldn't buy a house.
You couldn't
buy a house if you weren't cash at some points in time. So yeah, we've definitely gone away from that. We are seeing some of the after effects of that kind of crazy market.
Right.
But as far as, the people ask, should I sell my house today? When's the best time? It's when it's the best time for you. It always comes back to the customer, whether the customers are trying to get into a school district, or whether they, life happens for different people at different times, and those needs, they're really, it's not timing the market, it's really just aligning your home with the right buyer or the right seller at that simultaneous time to really maximize your amount, and preparing the home, of course.
All right, well, speaking of buyers and sellers, we have a couple that are on the market for you to look at. Let's start in Villa Rosa.
Great neighborhood, gated community, just off Bee Ridge. I always say it's far enough away from the highway that you don't hear the noise, but so convenient to get anywhere.
Beautiful home.
Yeah, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home on a lake. Great orientation. You're southwest facing, so in those winter months you're going to get that exposure in your backyard, which is so important to so many of our seasonal buyers. This home's priced at $549,000, built in 2002. Some great renovations, and there you can see out across the lake there to the west. But really beautiful home in an A-class school district. We're in Ashton Elementary there, so if kids are in your family, they'll love it. All
right, sounds good. Let's go to Southgate.
Well, this is an amazing location in Southgate, and this is a home that's a great example that it's not necessarily quiet in the market. We took it and did some lipstick, I would say.
Yes.
Cosmetic details, and really made it look pretty, and put it on the market for $450. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with a beautiful pool in the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And we immediately had multiple offers.
Okay, well, so that's a good sign that
Yep.
things are definitely active out there.
Yep.
But you have to have a beautiful place to sell, of course. And speaking of beautiful, Peninsula in Golden Gate, filling up fast, I hear.
Yeah, we
Yes.
always say if it's not compelling, it's not selling, and this is a compelling property. And
Absolutely.
It is absolutely the jewel in the crown of Golden Gate Point. It's just, you know, views to the east and west. The pass-through unit, you know, when you can, you know, front to back, east to west, it's just incredible.
Sunrise and sunset all in
So
one unit.
we're going to be ready to move people in August.
Oh my gosh,
So
wow, that's great.
please come talk to us soon, because we're have a very few opportunities
Yeah, there's
left.
only a couple of units
Yeah.
left right now, so those buyers, you know, they're going to come in and see a beautiful finished product.
Right, and the timing is perfect because it's been something that was going to be in the future, and now it's here. So
It's here.
that is very exciting. For more information about any of those properties or any others here on the Suncoast, you can go to SalaverriWindsorGroup.com.